morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Maybe hit like and subscribe and all of that fun stuff, and I would love to know what you like to stitch. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you taking the time to press play and to hang out with me so that we can talk cross stitch. So exciting. This week I have a whole bunch of things I want to talk about, so we'll just get going with those. But before I do that, I do want to say I have a Flosstube extra that I filmed. I filmed the show and tell for the autumn artist trading card swap. So if you'd like to see all of the fantastic cards that came in, then just go to the video before this, or if you head out to my playlist on trading cards, you will be able to see that. And yeah, I thought people did such an awesome job as usual. Alrighty, my friends, let's see. Let's just get going. I think so. I've got the sun, not the sun, but the reflection of the window in my glasses, and it's a little distracting. But you know, when you wear glasses, there's just all sorts of things that distract you and obscure you and all of that fun stuff, which is really kind of funny, right? Because the glasses are supposed to help you see better. But let's just jump right in. Okay, so one of the first things I did this week was I did participate in I've just blanked on it, the Focus event. Yes, the Focus event is part of the Whip Warriors Facebook group. You will see them down below. There is a little section that I give the different groups that I talk about for challenges. Including, you can also go to my Facebook group for the I Spy, as well as other places, which I talk about at the beginning of each month. But the Focus event was basically to stitch on, I think we were given Thursday through Sunday to put stitches into one piece. Now, I don't do it where I stitch only on that piece during the Focus event. I do stitch on other things as well. So I just spread it out over the weekend, and that's what I did as usual. So let me find what it will look like, the design. Pretty much almost all of the Focus events for this year, 2025, I have pulled out black roses from Owl Forest Embroidery. I started this on New Year's Day as a New Year, New Start with Mary of Mary's Stitching Corner. I think what I'm going to do, somebody did suggest this, that I could have a list of kind of the people that I'm stitching a lot of things with that I mention on a regular basis. And I know Karen the Stitching Owl does this already, where she does have a list of those that she mentions on a regular basis and she stitches things with. And so I think I might do that. So if you hear me just mentioning a name without their channel, if you just go down below, you can see them. I'll have a section maybe of some of the regulars mentioned, and then of course there's always other Flosstubers that I do try to, if I remember, mention, and so they will also be listed down below, so that you get a chance to see. But this way, because like Mary is mentioned in pretty much every video. So I just need to put her on repeat down in the bottom of the description notes. So let me show you where I am on this one. So I did end up doing, I think it was 500. I just got to 528 stitches for the weekend. We did have one of the kids here, so that meant that we were doing other things, and I stitched, but I didn't stitch anywhere near as I might have if it was just mowing myself. So that's where it is. I know the irony of me stitching the roses red when it's called black roses has been pointed out, but I think it's just so fun, so I just keep doing it anyway. What is this? This is, oh, as a reminder, all my fabrics will be 18 count, so I'm going to do my best not to keep saying that. And then some of them I just don't know what they are, so if you don't hear me mentioning a fabric, that just means that it's either scrap or unnamed, or I lost the tag. This is Pomona from Under the Sea Fabrics. I am using a Stitchy Stuff Co. floss. However, it is variegated but very slight, especially the way I'm doing it. I don't want wild stripes in my roses. I just want, maybe if you looked at it you might not even register that there is a variation in the light and the dark part of the roses, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted your eyes to maybe unconsciously pick it up, but not know it. And I believe I'm using Anchor. I had a stash at Anchor, so I'm using that for this one. I think I decided in December, I will pull this out again for the focus and see where I get through the year. I haven't spent a lot of time on it besides that, but it's been getting a good 500 at least a month, so that's something. And I think in 2026, I do like the focus event. I'm just not sure I'm gonna keep doing it with this project. Whether or not I do one project for the entire year or I split it up, I don't know. To be determined, and that could change at any time during 2026. But I'm excited that this is where it's gotten so far. Mary used this for Andrew's Whip into Shape, and so she got really far. She's gotten some great progress on it. I think if you watch her last video, you should, because she Whip into Shape we were doing every week with the challenge. So you can see one that is pretty far along compared to mine. And then Nikki from some Accounted Stitches, I'll link her down below. She recently just started it. She has a video out and I didn't watch it yet. It's on my not my wish list, on my to watch list. Accounted Stitches. I'm gonna put, but I know she started it, and I can't remember what vibe she's going for. There's a vibe she's going for with it, and so hers, the fabric is different than what I chose, but it's different than what Mary chose too, which is really kind of cool. So you get a chance to see, if you'd like to see in 3 different kind of variations of it, just check out her as well. And I don't know if her most recent, it might have shown it, but I know the one before that did show it because I think she started it. So that's fun. Alrighty, so that was my focus event. Then this one I just felt like stitching. So that happens with me a lot, right? You know, I just kind of go with the flow. I like the games and pseudo plans, but I'm also a stitch what you want when you want kind of stitcher. This is Wings of Change, and it is from Silver Creek Samplers. And I'm getting closer. It's so exciting. Even if I pull this out for challenges, I'm not 100% sure I'll get it done this year, but it is 100%, well, nothing is ever 100% in life, right? Let's do 99% sure that this will be finished in 2026. There it is. This is Bell Bottom Blues by Hand Dyed by Rolanda. And I did change it. If you'll see here, there's supposed to be a caterpillar here. And I loved this one so much. And this one was kind of smaller, and I didn't dig it quite as much. It's more, the way it's moving, there's less black to it and more kind of the white and the yellow. And I just, this guy was just so vibrant that I said, you know what, I'm just going to do this one. So I basically, my idea is that he's chewed through some of these leaves and now he's waking his way up right here. But what did I do? I did this entire leaf, which I know it doesn't look like much, but was so much stitching. Now I am using all DMCs except for, I chose my own variegated floss for the, I was going to say umbrella. I have no idea where that came from the butterfly. That is the same color scheme as what was charted. I don't remember how many variegated flosses were charted for this, but you know me, I love using DMC. So I did, but I thought this might be fun. So I did a little bit to see if I liked that orange, and I did. So I'll continue with that. I might, in my head, I'm going to finish all the black and then leave the orange for the last bit of stitching. And then I have some back stitching from the butterfly and I think a little bit on the caterpillar. But you know, I'll start this, kind of get bored with black, and then do some of the orange and go back and forth, because that's just the way I roll. It feels like I say I'm going to do all the outline stuff, and then I never do. But this one's coming along. If there's a challenge that it will fit for the rest of the year, then I will use it. However, I will not focus exclusively on Christmas in December because, you know, there's lots of stitching and so much to do, but I'll try to touch more of my Christmas pieces as opposed to what I have, you know, on other months. So I'm not sure if some of these pieces will all get touched again until 2026, but we'll see. All right, this next one, I started it a little bit last week. I'm not able to do it. I don't do it every night, my full coverage stitching. That's generally when I like to do my full coverage stitching because it's on the tablet. It's pretty easy to see, and I can just kind of follow along with it. So I did some last week and then some this past week. And I think I will continue. Oh, wait a minute. I need to find it here. At least another week or maybe through November. If I can find it. I'm trying to think. Oh, there it is. I haven't started a lot of full coverage. This year, I might have only started the autumn portal. So I do have to go back with some of my pieces to a little bit farther. This was started in early 2024. You know, we had the Year of the Dragon and all of that. This is Love We Share. It is charted by Stitch is So Beautiful, and the artwork is by Serr, Quill. And if you don't know me, I am a huge Fourth Wing fan, and so this is kind of reminiscent to me. Obviously, Taryn would be a lot bigger than this, but it's Violet with her dragon. In my mind, it's not supposed to be, but it kind of looks like that. So that's how I've kind of thought about it in my head that way. And, oh boy, I didn't do this very well. That's all right. So there's wrinkles. This is where I am. This is 2 strands over 1, just white Aida, full crosses. And on these, I will say, I do 18 count so far with my full coverages. And as usual, I am a jump around kind of full coverage stitcher. I don't fill in certain areas or pages or diagonals or squares or anything like that. I just pretty much do whatever I want. Now, I did spend time filling in some of the confetti here. So there might be a couple here, and you can see there's a couple here, but for the most part, this is all stitched. It's hard to see here because it's white on white, and I tried to do a lot of that. There's white, there's 3865, there's 712, there's another cream. So I did spend several nights kind of up in this area. It's not very fun, but I figured I got to get that done. I did not this time go over here. That is the full width of it though. And I do all of my full coverages differently. Sometimes I'm like, I want at least the 3 corners, and then I kind of jump around. I've been content to have just the 2 corners, the top corners, and then just keep going back and forth. I'm feeling the need to kind of fill in. If I look at the picture for a minute, I think, yeah, so this is where you'll have the majority of, say, those creams and the whites. Over here, there's space, but it's more green related. So it'll be more of these colors that come down here, or the lighter greens. But this is tough. It's harder to see. So I kind of want to get that finished. Every once in a while too, I have, a mistake in the counting, but in the background here, I don't feel like it matters a lot because that's just kind of the background. So that's where it is. Whether or not I show it to you next Friday or I wait, depends on if I'm do one more week and I'm done with it and I'm putting it away, how much work I get done, all of that kind of fun stuff. So that's the full coverage. I hadn't done one in a little while, and I do have several. The ones that were put away for 2025, I do think they're going to continue to be put away for 2026 because I'm liking the ones I have now. I'm not feeling the call to do those other ones. And, I'm just kind of rolling with it. I have no problem if things kind of go in hibernation mode, and then they'll come out whenever I feel like bringing them out. But let's take a break for the next second here. This is a leaner that I did from a Prairie Schooler. This was the design. It's the one where you have the Autumn Village, you have this, and you have, I can't remember what else on there. I did change the color of the pumpkin. I wanted it more orange because Prairie Schooler has a tendency to give you brown pumpkins. and I enjoyed it. So I've just made it into a leaner, so it goes up on my shelves. Now I did get a chance to fully finish a couple other pieces here. They are scrapbook pages, so yay, I got a couple done. This one here, I don't remember the name of it. Oh, I really don't remember. So I had a lot of fun trying to figure out what to do with it. It is slightly matted with another gray to bring in that gray. And then I have this green that was, I went through 4 or 5 different greens. Again, it's always amazing how many shades of color there are. This one was the closest to what the pumpkin was stitched in. And then I went through my scraps, and I had this scrap that was literally this size. I was going to make it a little smaller, and I said, you know what? I like the page filled up like that. And then this is just a little die cut. It says Harvest Blessings, which happened to be the same green, because I went through my different stickers and die cuts, and I said, you know what? That's perfect. I stitched this one in, I want to say I probably stitched it for a pumpkin birthday stitch, so it's perfect to say Harvest Blessings on it. So that one is done, and that will go in the scrapbook. I'll put that down there because I have another one, and it's kind of more Thanksgiving-y, so I put it with the turkey. And this is, I think it's Grateful Quaker from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. As you can see, I only did one of the words. I think it said grateful, thankful, blessed, if I remember correctly. I decided I didn't want to do all the words. I just wanted thankful. I added a few little other things in there. I think letters were supposed to, initials were supposed to go there or something. I did my own color of variegated floss for the squirrel, and I believe I changed some of the other colors as well. But I just wanted to keep it, it's funny because I saw this kind of it's Cherry Cobbler, I think, from Stampin' Up. I saw that color and it kind of matched what I was doing there. So I said, okay, I'm going to do that as a mat. And then I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do from there. And when I had cut this down, I had this strip of, it's probably a 1/4 inch strip that I had cut down from it. And I said, what could I do with those? And so I played around a little bit and I put them on the stitching. I use something called Connect Glue. It's from Gina K Stamps. And it works fabulous putting paper on the fabric. And it's a small little bottle that has a little tip, so you're able to really see and guide where you're going. So I use it for small pieces. I certainly wouldn't glue a large piece because that would waste a lot of it. It goes on, I don't know, like, well, it depends on what color it's on. It's either like blue or kind of pinky, but then it dries clear. It's wonderful. Gina K has wonderful products if you're ever looking at her stuff. And I kind of liked it like that. And then I liked just putting this in closer and leaving some of this open, kind of like these are kind of going somewhere because there's more cardstock there. So that is my other piece. If you want to see exactly how do I prepare my stitching and like what interfacing and things I use, I do have a playlist on scrapbooking my stitches. And so if you go there, there's all sorts of different videos, including a flip through that I did, I want to say December of 2023. I don't believe I did one last year, but I hadn't done a lot of finishes. I go back and there's a lot I'd like to scrapbook, but sometimes I just need that inspiration and I don't always have it because it's a different kind of finish, obviously, than if I'm finishing pieces as leaners or ornaments or things like that. So I do them kind of when I really get inspiration strikes. So I'm not sure. I know somebody said, would I do another flip through? Oh, there's a little blue. Oh, good. There was a little blue dot there. So if you saw it, it did come out. Would I do another flip through? And I can. I just don't know if you'd be bored seeing some of the stuff that you would have seen the first flip through. But there we go. So there are my full finishes, these two for the week. And it doesn't always happen. So I take it where I can and enjoy it because I most certainly do not finish every week. Okay, so let's jump into my Thanksgiving bingo. If you wanted to see the prompts, and I was asked a couple times, could I share them? I did share them on my Patreon. If you go to the description box below, there is a link to the Stitching by the Shore Patreon. It is completely free. I don't have anything that I'm going to charge for. I'm not in a position where I would create patterns or things like that. And I'm not sure how good I'd be at it. I love stitching them. I'm not sure if I have the visual brain. It feels like geometry to me, right? To be able to take that, what you see in your brain, and put it on the paper or on the screen or whatever. And I don't really have that ability. So long story short, the Patreon is free. And if you go on there, you will see it. If right now it's the latest post, however, it also is going to be in a collection that's different types of challenge information that don't have to do with I Spy. I Spy has its own collection. So last Thursday, because remember on Thursdays, I've already got my pile of stitching ready to be write notes about and everything. So you don't generally see my Thursday stitching on my Friday videos until the following week. So I pulled number 13 last Thursday, and the prompt was a project containing a nature scene. So I pulled out my my project from the Just Cross Stitch 2024 Christmas edition magazine, and let me look in the back. I love this in the back, the little thing that shows you all the pictures of everything, because then it tells you what page it's on. I pulled out Peaceful Path. I thought, well, that's a nice little nature-ish scene, kind of wintry. I, in theory, would love to have this done for the Christmas tree, but even if I get it stitched, I'm not sure it'll get fully finished for this year's tree, but that's okay. This is from Three Tiny Owls, and the design, and it is a full coverage. Now, in the original printing of this, they mixed up the white and the cream. So if you have the original, I don't know if in subsequent printings if they fix that, but check to make sure that your white and cream are the right ways, ecru and white, because those were switched. All right, let me put that over here for a minute, and here's where I have. Now with the full coverage, I just pulled out a scrap, and because there was a lot of blue, I decided, I'll pull out this blue scrap and use that. So this way, if there's show through in the behind, it's the same tone. And I'm just plugging along on this. I did some of the tree over here. I did a lot over on this side and got work on these trees right here. I decided I didn't feel like doing just white. I have mostly white stitching left, among with some other things, but a lot of white, because underneath the house there is a lot of snow as well, and then some other trees. So that's where it is. And I would like to try to find other challenges or things that I can bring this out for. And it certainly, I consider it kind of a Christmas-y piece, because I'm thinking of it for my Christmas tree. And then I could probably keep it out. Once it's off the tree, I could hang it as kind of a wintry ornament as well, which is nice. But so it will get some work. Whether or not it'll get finished this year, I'm not putting the pressure on myself to do so. What gets done gets done. It's the way I look at it. It's a hobby. So, oh, this magazine does not want to go in. All right, I'm just going to do, I am not going to put the magazine right now. I'll put that up here, put the stitching in the bag, and then move on. Okay, so then on Friday, I pulled number 9, and that was a project that reminds me of where I live. Whenever I see this prompt, it generally has me bring out beach stuff, because I live in Rehoboth Beach. And so I pulled out, I hadn't done this one in a while, the Signs series Summer from Twin Peak Primitives. So that's what it'll eventually look like. It is, it's one of those, you know how your projects, you've started them, then you're kind of, you know, you're plugging along on them and whatever, at least if you have a lot that you carry over. If you were people that start and finish within 3 months, 4 months, good on you, go. But I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. But that's not me. Mine will last 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. But I'm at the point now with it that, okay, I've hit that point where it's been going on a while. Will it be a 2026 finish? I don't know. Not if I don't pull it out more often. 2026, 2027, the latest, right? So there we are. This is what it looks like right now. It is Carmel Macchiato from Fabrics by Stephanie. And I did really uninteresting stitching. I did all of this so that now this can be a fill-in stitch. If I pull it out on a Zoom, or maybe I'm watching something that I don't really want to worry about counting or things like that, then I have the ability to just stitch and throw in lots and lots of brown stitches. I wanted to get this through here, and then this comes just down a little bit more. I made this chair too low by a just one, or I think it's just one, so I just I rolled with it. So this one's a little lower than that one. I will have, there's still kind of a boom box that needs to go there. I do have one more of these. I actually haven't filled in this one yet. There's no white on this kind of bath hut yet. And then I have another one and a little ball right there. I am recharting this to say Delaware instead of what it says right now. And what's nice is I think every single letter I need was given within the words that were there. So I think I don't even have to chart anything, which is kind of cool. I mean, even the W, right? I mean, how often are you going to have W? So not a lot of exciting stitching this week, but you know, these things have to get done, right? And like that'll be fun to stitch. These bath huts, no, I stitched them for a trading card swap, and they're not my jam kind of thing. There is a mistake or two in the top of a couple of them, so I do have to be careful there and make sure. I think I have to figure out which one is correct, and then I'll go off of that as well. So we're plugging along. Yes, it could be done in 26 if I gave it much more attention. Am I worried about it? No, I am not. 26, 27, one or the other. It'll be fine. It's going in the scrapbook. So it'll probably go next to On the Beach from Stitcherovia that I finished last year, I believe. Alrighty, next. What was the next number I picked? Number 23. And that was a stitch I haven't seen others stitching. Now, I have seen others stitching some of these little guys. These are the gnomes from they were Wonderstitch. So there's Wonderland Ukraine. That's what they started out as. But then that has a different artist for gnomes now, and they put them to Wonderstitch UA. So these are the set of gnomes. I've seen others stitching some of the other gnomes, but not the one that I'm stitching. I am doing this one right here. Pumpkin, of course. So we went with that one. I am not doing the background, and I'm not doing the grounding circle. Alrighty. Here we go. That's what it looks like. And this is another one. And I did not try, at the time when I started these, I didn't have Pattern Keeper. I have not tried to put them in. I don't know if they would go into Pattern Keeper or not. I am just deep in this whole area right here, and literally every ecru, white shade, tan you can think of, cream, is in this. And I'm doing it with paper. Obviously, I'm marking it off as I go, but oh man, I am deep in the weeds. Once I get, I'm kind of saving this pumpkin. I really want to treat myself with the pumpkin at the end and kind of slog through this. But if I get to the point where I'm done, I might jump over here. I did a couple of just browns just to go a darker color because I was just like, oh man. This is Buttercream from To Die For Fabrics. And I mean, at this point, I've got great progress, right? I've thought about, do I try putting it in Pattern Keeper? And yes, I could, but then I have to mark off all of this that I've done. I mean, over here, that's all done. So I could probably just start from here. So I may decide how much it's worth it to me. It all depends on if it goes into Pattern Keeper, whether or not to try to do that. Because if I could just mark the path as I go, it would be so much easier. So if you do want to do these, they're wonderful. Look at how the colors pop. This is all DMC. Look at how the flower just, in my mind, it just pops off the screen. I love how they do the shading. I love how they've done them. But you are deep in it when you get over in this section. So if you want to try them and you do have a digital kind of pattern kind of reader, see if it works. It would make your life easier, to be honest. But that's where it is. So I just keep pulling this one out. I mean, clearly it's not going to get done. I don't even know if it'll get done in 2026 because it depends on how much I dig into that. But I just plug it along. You know, it's great for prompts. What I might do, and as we get to November, I've certainly been thinking about what do I want to do with my projects in 2026. You know, I'm going to start a bunch of things because I do. I start at least 50 projects a year. And I finish a good number of them, so I don't feel bad about that. But if I have repeats, so for example, I have this gnome, the winter gnome, and the St. Patrick's gnome still on the go. And then from a different company, I have McChristmas. And I'm wondering if I just pick one, like this one, and just whenever I want to do one of these bigger gnomes rather than the little ones, I just do that one. And then get that one finished, put the others kind of in hibernation mode, and then, okay, that one's done. Now let's pull another one out. Because then that way I feel like I might be able to work a little bit easier towards getting them all finished eventually. I would say this year, I certainly at least a handful of projects I nixed. I said, I don't like how they're going right now. Some of them I won't stitch at all. Some of them I need to change the fabrics or whatever. I have been pretty ruthless with that. Then there's also been a handful that are also like, yep, those are also going in hibernation. I'm not feeling it right now, but I'm still not ready to say goodbye to them kind of thing. And I'm kind of going with that and just feeling it. And then working on the older ones when I feel like it, and then pulling things in and out of where they might be asleep for a while when I want to, and then just starting what I want and just stitching however I want and not worrying about it. They're there, they're safe, they'll be there when I want them again. So yeah, no stress. Alrighty, what did I do next? Number 3 was a project I want to stitch on a rainy day. So I thought about, okay, it's usually darker on a rainy day, so I want something that's easy for me to see and to do, and it's kind of cozy. And right now I'm still stuck. Well, this piece is only 2 colors. So it's not monochromatic, but it's black and white. And I am still doing my very best to plug along and get that outer border done. I did no white stitching. I did all black stitching. It's one of the few that I am still committed to doing that. Of course, you can see at some points I digressed, right? I was just like, I need to do something different. But corners have met up here. Everything works here. So we have one more corner to meet up. And once that works, I'm excited. So I did some of this, and I kind of did fill in or whatever, wherever I went kind of thing too. I did, because some of those, I do the border, like you see how I do it there, and then I go back and I fill in these hearts. So I had a whole row of these hearts that I have to do. So I did that as well as do a little bit more on the edges here. Maybe next time I might try to do that, do the corner, cross my fingers, make sure it all works, because this corners, well, let's see, these 2, that's corners finished. You see, it's elaborate there. So there's a plan. It'd be harder to fudge. This is Mermaid's Dream from To Die For Fabrics. And I still love this one. This is Modern Folk Embroidery, if I didn't say. Right there. And they're just so cute. I'm saving the penguins to the end. And I'm not sure. There are some stray, kind of like stray single stitches of the white. I don't know if I'll do those. I'll do all of the others, and I'll see what it looks like and see what I think. I know some people have said, oh, you could do beads or something like that, but this will go in the scrapbook. So I don't do, well, I've only done beads a few times on things, not a lot, but in the scrapbook, I don't want to, because, the projects, it stands up. I don't have my scrapbooks laying on their side. Although you could, like if you wanted it to be a coffee table book, right? I think that'd be fantastic, especially different themed ones. And maybe I'll put some out when I have company in the holidays or whatever. We'll see. Although Bella can get to our coffee table. So everything that was on the coffee table is in the middle of the table now, because she likes to chew the edges of things that are reachable because she's not a big dog, but she can get up. The coffee table obviously is not very tall, and so she can get to the edge of that, and you see her little head coming over and she starts to dig. So maybe I wouldn't put it on the table, but yeah, so that's the one hesitation of anything with the beads. Depending on how you've got it stored and how tightly they are, you wouldn't want to get indentations in the other. You've got both the page protectors, but it could, over time and weight, go into your other piece. So that would be a consideration. That is a problem for way down the line. And I just enjoy pulling this out. It doesn't always look like I've done a lot, but I'm making progress and I'm happy with that. And I'm enjoying it that I don't feel the need to get it done because I really do enjoy the stitch. And I enjoy pulling it out. And that's like most of them, unless there's one that's getting near the end and I'm just like, just get it done and just work on it. But for the most part, I just really enjoy stitching them and pulling them out. And then they'll get done when they get done. Okay, what's the next number? I pulled 3 and then I pulled number 4. Look at that. That was a project I'm stitching on with a friend. Well, this is multiple friends that some of them are finished, of course, but this project is getting stitched by several friends or was stitched. We started Butterflies 2 from Durene Jones. And at the time it was Mary, Karen D, Amy, and then I know Rachel Q jumped along. Let me make sure I put Rachel down. It's good to see Rachel showing us her crafting again. Gosh, am I missing anybody? I'm so sorry if I have. So the two, both Karen and Karen D finished theirs, and it's phenomenal. Both of them, just so brilliant. They changed it. They didn't do the full piece, but it was really cool how they did it. Myself, I am stitching the entire piece. And here it is. This is, again, I'm treating it like any of my other full coverages. 2 strands over 1, full cross. And again, this is one I struggle with, like, oh, I'm going to do all of the black outline and then go and do colors. Yeah, no. I did some black outline and then I did some down here. But I went and I did all that pink that I've put in there. There was a few other places I put some of this. This is a blue between the black outlines. I did some of that as well. So I mixed and I matched. I got between 300 and 400 stitches on it that day. So it was a good day for stitching. I was able to get this into Pattern Keeper. So Durene Jones does not make them specifically Pattern Keeper compatible, because I know a friend tried to put one of the other butterflies in and it didn't go, whereas this one went in seamlessly. And so she did reach out to Durene, and Durene did say that they're not specifically made for that. However, since this one did go in so nicely, it is a joy to just, highlight a color and then just go with it. So that's where it is. Now, if you don't have anything, this is it, but you'd like to do a full coverage, these sizes might be a great place to start with them. And this has, changes of color, but it doesn't have crazy confetti, and it does have some block stitching. And certainly if you did some of the outlining, it would be a great one. You don't need, well, you never need the digital readers. I mean, you can do everything by paper. I have been a convert with the full coverages because I do like how it highlights it better, especially because my eyesight's not, it's not stellar. So I like when the screen makes it highlight, and I can make it bigger, you just make it bigger and everything's great. However, you could do this one as anything with paper if you wanted to. So these are very fun to try if you like lots of color and you're kind of curious about a full coverage, but you don't want to go like crazy full coverage size. This might be a good like stepping stone to see how you like it. Next was number 18, and that was a stitch I look forward to stitching. And this is just a recent start, but I so enjoyed it. This is Sampler Holidays Thanksgiving. Thank you to all who answered whether or not, gave your opinions as to whether or not I should keep the color I was with, or do I start something new. And overwhelming majority was keep it the way it is. So I said, well, I like that answer, so I'm going to go with that answer. This is an unnamed fabric, so I don't have any info for you on it. And let me go over a little bit. There we go. I am using, oh gosh, did I pull it out? No, I didn't. Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm using a DMC variegated. Which one is it? 4130. Oops. 4130. They're so, you know, I think about the people who make the really cool polished floss tubes and their stops and their starts and everything always looks like it's effortless. And then there's me just throwing floss around everywhere. There we are. I did a little bit of this inner parts of the border. I didn't go any more with the outer part of the border. I concentrated a lot on the tree. And so there is variegation. It's light, which I like, but it is there, and you do see it in person. And I think I'm glad I chose what I did. I think this color, and as usual, it's showing starker on the screen than it is in real life. I think that will play nicely off of that color. And the other autumn piece that I have that has, it's more orangey, variegated floss, is on a much, much darker fabric. So that will be nice. I was a bit concerned that they'd be a little too similar in that sense too, but they are not. And anyway, that one will go in a collection of seasons. This one will go on its own, probably in the scrapbook. So I'm good. I'm good. Now, I did start thinking of Thanksgiving. It was called Season of Thanks. It's in the Just Cross Stitch magazine, the autumn one that just happened. And I was already, I stitched a couple hundred stitches. I didn't like it. I didn't like the colors is what it was. I am not doing the alphabet, so I did some of the border around the main picture. And then I started to do a couple of leaves. And I said, I love this little picture, but I'm not vibing with the colors chosen. So I'm going to have to sit down and figure out all the color changes I wanted to do. And I didn't have it in me to do that. So I just nixed what I had stitched, got rid of that, and put it aside. And I said, that will be a project for another year. I did a different start that you'll see at the very end. I was like, well, I do want a Thanksgiving start along with this one because I like doing my turkeys. So I'll show you something at the end. But that's where this one is. I am really enjoying it. So I probably will continue to pull this one out. I mean, it's Thanksgiving, right? It would be nice to be able to get a little bit more work on it. Whether or not you'll see it this week or you'll see it Thanksgiving week, I'm not sure. It's already been pulled for my bingo. And what I'm trying to do, so I have 30 days in November, right? So I'm trying to do 30 different projects. I have more than that. So it's not that I don't have them. So for that prompt, I will not repeat it. And I think I already used it for I Spy. Did I? I did. So it wouldn't be used for that. But I could just bring it out because I feel like it, right? It doesn't mean I have to not do it anymore because I do things beyond just the challenges. And the very last one that I stitched on that would have been the pull for Wednesday was number 11. And that was my oldest stitch. So that's easy to find in the group of projects because I just go to the first one. This is Samhain in Salem, and it is by Hemlock and Rye Stitchery. And I don't know how Julie did these. She did these models so quickly. She's got 4 seasons. These houses, whew, they are lots and lots of house. But they're fun. And I really like kind of like the old, this one obviously is kind of a Salem vibe. The winter one was in Nantucket. I want to say spring. It might be in Williamsburg. And then I don't remember where the summer one is. But I just kind of like the vibe of the colors. And I am not going to do any words. She did give an alternative charting for Halloween in Salem. I'm just going to do, a long time from now, the fence all the way across. So here I am. Now, I didn't, if you see me talk about this before, I did not count right when I cut my fabric. So my houses are closer than what she has charted. So it's a good thing I'm doing my own thing for the fence without the words, because it would be different anyway. This is it as a whole. I did pretty good on the first house, I think. Then well, partially. The Nantucket one, the piece, that one, which I did change parts of it. I did that one much faster than this one. I've kind of stalled over the years on this one. But I think I finished this house this year. And then I plugged along with this one. So that's not too bad. This time it was just, I had so much roof to do. So I finished the roof. Since you've seen it, I think I also did a little bit of window. All the windows here up top are done. I've started with the kind of the top of the door, which will be kind of cool. That part's all pretty easy. And then there's some flowers here at the bottom. And I think a couple more pumpkins. So yay, pumpkins. This is Old Library Marble from Dove Stitch. So as you can tell, it is a printed fabric. It is not a hand-dyed fabric. And I just keep plugging along. I also use this for I Spy because one of the prompts was your most veteran / oldest project. And that is this one. Now, when I do these prompts, if it gets to the point where full coverage is oldest, we'll see if I do those, or, because I like to, when I show you my full coverage stitching, I like to have done a minimum of, say, 500 stitches, If I've done just 100, it's so hard to see that I usually just hold it and wait, and I may not show you at all, or I try to go back and do some. Sometimes it's like your biggest project, right, is the prompt and of different games. And so that obviously, a lot of my full coverages are my biggest projects. So sometimes I throw it in, but sometimes I don't. With these challenges, I really try to get some of these in because I just rotate, and I have a very unscientific rotation for my full coverage. But that's where this one is. So yeah, I think originally when I did my goals for 2025 was to try to get that house finished. Clearly that's not going to happen. However, I'm not, I did already scrapbook the winter one. So I won't wait. Obviously, I'm not waiting to finish them. I think I did. Maybe I didn't. If I didn't, I'm just going to maybe just finish it because there's no use holding on to it and waiting. These are taking too long. And I'm sure there'll be a big break. I'm almost sure I have the spring one. I'd have to see. But my goal when they first came out was I was going to do all of them. You know how it is. And then you come down to life reality that, these things take a lot longer than you think they're going to. And then everything kind of slows down a little bit. All right, so that was my bingo. I did do yesterday's prompt, but you'll see that next week. And then let's do my finish. This is way underwhelming and smaller than it would have ever been. Shores of Hawkrun Hollow. This is from Carriage House Samplings. I bought this piece, gosh, I bought it probably early in my I started back to cross stitch in 2019 after a huge long break. And so at some point in 2020, I think I bought this. I bought fabric for it. I was all gung-ho. And then I wasn't sure the fabric would fit. I don't think it fit on the fabric I bought because, when you don't really pay attention to those things at the beginning. So then I was going to, I had been watching Jojo Girl Stitching. Let me write down Megan to link her. And she was stitching this, but she had made it smaller. She had taken out some of the blocks and she had done this to it. And I asked her, is it okay if I do what you've done? And she was graciously said, of course. And so that was then the next plan. I was going to do this. However, I've realized that I like some of the blocks, but I don't really want even a piece. I don't want a piece, you can see it even better this way, this big or even this big when you do, blocks like that. And so I decided, let's finish up this block. There wasn't much left. There's changes on this one. I didn't fill in here. It's hard to see. You're probably not going to pick up the lips in the sun, but I didn't want really like in your face lips for that. So they're very subtle. But I had mostly just the birds to finish, the little bit of the sun, And I think I even had all of the blue done at that point. So I said, you know what? We're going to finish this one. I'm cutting the fabric. We're done with it. This will go in the scrapbook. And then if I do other ones, then, you know, they can go in other pages. I do like some of these blocks. I've thought about mixing and matching some of them. I know Amy was stitching this one and she had a great idea what she was going to do with this block right here. So there's different things you can do by breaking it up. Now, I know Nancy, the disorderly stitcher, she started an entire stitch along for leap year stitching, in which by the end of 4 years, the way she's got it broken up, you'll have the entire piece done. And so I think I started it around when that was. So it took me look how long it took to just do this one block. So that kind of told me something right there. Finish off, get it done, and then put that project away. I'll keep the pattern, of course, and then we'll see if down the line I feel that the desire to do other ones. And maybe I don't want to do them on this color. I had gotten the color because I was really inspired by this, but you don't have to. I've since learned, right, that you can do whatever you want. And so I might kind of jump around depending on the colors in a square. So we have a finish. Yay! Actually, did I put that in my finishes? Let me look at my book real quick. Where are my finishes? Finishes for 2025? Yep, I did. So that was finish number 49 for 2025. So you know I have to push for at least one more finish. That way I'll have gotten at least 50 finishes. I'm pretty proud of that. Alrighty. This next piece so I didn't do it every day over the weekend because I had limited stitching time and I was doing the bingo and things like that. But Turkey Day, I'm telling myself I would really like to get this one done by Thanksgiving. This is Turkey Day from Cottage Garden Samplings, and it is part of the Time for All Seasons series number 11. I have seen the turkey that's come out from Cabin in the Woods, and I swore I'd never do another kind of cottage garden crazy kind of animal. And the turkey has some of this. It's a different shape, right, and design. And I was thinking, I looked at it and I said, oh boy, maybe I'll do it. Now that I kind of I had figured out a way to kind of make this one a little bit easier. I don't think I've done any of the Cabin in the Woods of either series because this kind of soured me on this. It's beautiful, and when you'll see it, it's beautiful, but it is so much work. It's hard to see, hard to do. Turkey's not done yet. I just didn't feel like dealing with this part of the turkey, so I said, let's do some leaves now. And that was part of why I wanted to do my, you can see here, these are kind of like maybe a 754-ish peachy kind of look. It is charted in is it 758? So it is charted in DMC. Yeah, it's charted in DMC. There's only 2 variegateds, but I used the DMC alternatives on them. And I wasn't feeling that shade when I pulled it out. I didn't want to go that pink route. So I said, all right, let's pull out something else. I think it's 356. I was going to say 3830, but no, it's 356 that I pulled. And I did a full one. And I kind of like that. And I was debating, I had thought about changing this leaf to either this color again or even this. But after doing this, and I know that this color is going to be here, I decided I didn't want to add another color here, but to keep it all this the same. So I did stitch this one as well. So these 2 got stitched in the week. And this leaf took me 3 days because I'm doing kind of like 25/7, between 85 to 100 stitches a day. And I did 3 days on this one, 2 days on this one. And I think then I didn't do a couple days of stitching on this. So then I thought to myself, oh gosh, this one's going to take me at least 4 days. It's going to take me all week, this one. Then I got started to worry, am I not going to get this finished by Thanksgiving? However, if I stay the course and at least 5 days out of 7 continue working, because today's the 14th, I still have, all right, maybe it doesn't get done by Thanksgiving because, you know, things are going to get busy. Our schedule this week and next is very, very busy. And then my in-laws come down the week of Thanksgiving. So obviously I'll be stitching, but not as much. At this point, they like to just chill, which is great. I love that too. But so we won't be like running around doing things, but I certainly won't get as much stitching Thanksgiving week. So will it get done by Thanksgiving? But this year, this is getting done this year, and that's just it. But I have that entire leaf. I have to do all the veins of these 3 leaves plus this one. I know I have more of this to do, and I have more of the foot to do, and then that might be it. I have to look and see. Did I tell you this is Buttercream from To Die For Fabrics? I saw somebody in the comments had said that they weren't going to do the top part, just this other part, and make it a stand-up. How cool is that? That's a great idea. So that's where it is. And you will continue to see it because it will get some time. We have different things happening like early in the morning. I know like we had an appointment early yesterday. We have the vet next week. Bella goes in for something. I don't even know what. And that's like 8 o'clock in the morning. And that's usually the first set of stitching I do is the turkey to kind of get it done for the day. And if my day doesn't get started stitching wise until 11 or 12, sometimes I'm kind of like, oh, I've got my bingo to do. We'll see if I get to turkey day later. And I don't always get to it. All right, so the very last one I want to show you. So I had started Season of Things, nixed it, said, no, that's not working. So I wanted to start a turkey because I've been trying to stitch a turkey each year. Last year I finished the Tiny Modernist, I think. I think the year before that was the Crocetta Go-Go. So we're working on turkeys. We want to have a whole, what is a set of turkeys called? I'm going to call them a gobble of turkeys. I have no idea what it is, but I'm just making that up. I thought this one was really cute, so I decided to start this one. This is from, I believe it's Needle Treasures Nook, if I'm not mistaken. I am not stitching those little curly Q things. I'm just stitching the turkey and probably whatever's on the ground there it's standing on. Now, this did go into Pattern Keeper flawlessly, which is fabulous. However, it's like 2,500 stitches. Now, these were probably about 500, so this guy is still 2,000 stitches. I didn't realize that at the time when I committed myself to this. So he is certainly not getting done by Thanksgiving. I will probably give him at least another stitch session, if not 2. You know, week of Thanksgiving, you have to stitch a turkey. But this is where I got to. I pulled out some Rustico. They've all been so far on things like Rustico. The Crocetta Go-Go one is on this type, but a lighter shade of the background. I know the Tiny Modernist turkey is on Vintage Country Mocha, and then I think, and then the cornucopia I did earlier this month is on, you know, basically just a light kind of tannish brown. So we're kind of going along that theme for all the turkeys and the Thanksgiving, but that's where I got. And again, I'm so thrilled. If you look at this body, that, oh, I'm trying to make it bigger. There we go. That's in Pattern Keeper. Because again, could certainly be done easily with paper. However, I am known to make mistakes with those kind of designs. So it being a Pattern Keeper is really, really nice. And that's where we are. You will most likely see this at least once, if not more than once, this November. But exciting. I'm happy to get another turkey going. It was between this and another one. And in fact, the other one is probably smaller, and I was going to do it. However, it's mostly variegated flosses, and they didn't give a DMC alternative, which means I have to decide all of the DMC alternatives, and I didn't have it in me. That's why I stopped Season of Thanks. So I was like, nope. This one is all DMC. Great. I don't have to make any changes. We're going with that one. And we're just, and that's it. That's all that she wrote. So that other one will be maybe next, well, maybe not next year, because this one will still be going. Maybe the year after that. Who knows? All right. So that's my stitching. What are my plans? Bingo and I Spy are still plugging along. I don't have a lot done with I Spy. I think I have 3 prompts out of the 10. So we have some work to do there. I do double dip at times between that and the bingo. and I will continue that. That's, you know, so that's plugging along nicely. Now I actually, yeah, because that's wrong. So I don't have an almost bingo this way, but I do have an almost bingo this way. I just need one more number on that one. So we're just plugging along on that and enjoying that. On Monday, I am starting. Okay, I know I saw it here. Gosh, let's see if I can find it. Now, there it is. This is Jingle All the Way Dear by Quaint Rose Needle Arts. So I am starting that with my friend Beth in person. I'm so excited that we are going to start that Monday. And I'm still on the fence on this. I'm going to start from the top, work my way down. I don't know if that bottom section will get done or not. I'm almost sure I have to pull out the flosses, but I can almost guarantee I might do opal blue ice that my skating Santa is on. I think that would look nice. I like opal kind of blue for Christmassy things. However, I do want to make sure things like that blue look okay. So we'll see. So that's getting started on Monday. And then I am just kind of thinking about what I'm doing for the rest of this year. Trying to think about what I would like to do next year. But that's still kind of all hazy. I don't have a full plan there. But, you know, you think about it as you're stitching and doing things like that. Alrighty, shopping. I did have a little bit of shopping, not a lot. I did get my fabric of the month from Fabrics by Stephanie. If you'd not want to see it, look away. I do get 18 count from Stephanie. And with Stephanie's, you don't choose. You just get what you get, right? All right, so look away if you don't want to see. I'm going to give you the name. I'm almost sure with Stephanie, you get a mixture of her current plus maybe newer stuff. And I'm A-okay with that because I love her fabrics. And that's what it looks like. So that's fun. I did not have this one either, which is cool. When I get repeats of hers, I'm not upset with it because, again, pretty much everything I've ever bought from her, I like the color. But then it's always cool to get some that I don't have so that I could keep with my stash of her stuff. Then I also I had placed an order with Stitchy Stuff Co. because I wanted to use, so for Glenda's, Artsy Housewife, Glenda's what? You know, the big crow on the house. I wanted to use, I had a skein of Raven Feather from Stitchy Stuff Co. And I wasn't sure if that would be enough. So I reached out, I went to her Etsy shop and I looked to see if she had any. She did not. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, are you going to be getting any more of this? And she said, you know what? I will dye some. And she did. And so within 3 days, she said, oh, the listing is up. She's wonderful, wonderful to work with. I can't recommend her enough. I love her flosses. Just really, she is a joy. So I thought this would be very cool as I don't know if it's a raven or a crow, whatever it is, whatever the bird is. So now I have the full kind of hank of it so that I'm fine. Of course, I went and I bought a couple some skeins, some larger pieces. I just liked this nutmeg, so I pulled that out. Then I was intrigued by this red. This is Firecracker. So that one was called nutmeg. This is Firecracker. I am looking for kind of a fun red, and it doesn't necessarily have to be variegated, which this one is very slightly, but probably not the way I stitch would you see it. A very fun red for the Yasmin's Made with Love piece that I bought that's red. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. So this is not, this is black and white printing, but this one right here. Because the Yasmin's piece I started, the Gothic Bat, I'm not always going to be feeling bat stitching, right? But I would really love another Yasmin's piece. And the original is stitched in red, and I love it. Love it. Of course, it's called in red, so not a surprise. And so I'm debating, this one's a pretty bright one, but I kind of like that. So that's possibly, I'm collecting reds now to decide, because I thought this one would be a fun start. Maybe this would be see, it says 2025, but I'm almost sure Yasmin probably gave an numbers. Actually, I don't know if these look smaller because there is a set of numbers, whether it's the same on there. This would be, if it's in red, this might be a cool February start. If you want to start in February, let me know. And I'll put it. I have another start already scheduled for February, but you know me. I start at least 5 things a month. I did pull up by a couple other colors. This vintage purple. Look at how pretty that is. And I got these as skeins. And I bought blueberry because, you know, I can't not buy blues. And I thought this one's a really, really pretty one. So I have to figure out where I can use this one. That is really, really nice. And then she did send something that will eventually go for all of you, but I'm debating if I'm doing an event of things. I don't know. You'll see that eventually, but she is a joy to work with. Like I said, thank you so much. I don't know if she watches or not, for so responsive, so keeping you posted on things, and then boom, it was in the store. So great to work with. Oh, the other thing I bought, I almost forgot. I was watching Vani. Vani has thread the needle, and she has started to design things. And Vani, if you've watched her over the last few years, she loves doing Advent sort of things. She's done, is it coffee plus candle scents, and then stitching stuff that she had a game that she would do, and she would pick different things and all of that. So she created a festive mandala, and I was so tempted. I think through tomorrow it still might be on sale. And the colors are not like in your face Christmas. There's a lot of blues, I think. I have to pull it, but I was like, oh yes, there's lots of blues. I'm actually even debating on not stitching this outline. I think I might just do the mandala itself. I was going to reach out to her and ask her what her thoughts were of that. The finished design is 160 by 160. You will get 25 different emails each day, and I've already got the floss list. She did send this chart, so if you do want to do the border ahead of time, and that starts December 1st. I am debating on, I've done some Flossmas videos where there are different themes and topics, which I still kind of want to do, but I'm wondering if I do a 5-minute daily kind of Flossmassy video to follow along on this Advent. I haven't decided that yet. We'll see. Either a daily one, or maybe there's a weekly one for that, and then I don't know. I know there's a lot of videos out there. People put out so much fabulous stuff, especially at Christmas, that I don't know if you really want another thing to watch, but I'm going to think about it. I've still got a few weeks to go with it. I've got to figure out my fabric, pull the flosses, and decide if I absolutely need to do that border, or if I can just do the mandala. So anyway, that was my other purchase. I'm pretty excited about it. I've never done an Advent stitch. I generally am not a big fan of the mystery stitches, because you know me, I like to plan my fabric just so, and then start in certain places and so on and so forth. So we'll see what this experience is like. But I do, I wanted to support Vani in her new venture. I'll link her Flosstube, and I got her Etsy shop link from her Flosstube. She has a 2.5-minute video that introduces the Advent Stitch project, which is what I watched and got me intrigued by it. So if you go to her latest video, I think that's what that is. Alrighty, so that's it. That is all the stitching. That's all I've got. Thank you so much. If you don't care about life stuff, I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next time. So I talked about the fact that we had a kiddo here this weekend. The weather was pretty good, so we went to the farmer's market on Saturday morning. There's a great stall at the market that is like fresh pressed juices. His shop is in Maryland, I believe, but he comes to the farmer's market, and so it's kind of like a little treat. Got those, and then the vegan bakery is there, and I don't eat sweets most of the time, so every once in a while it's a nice treat. So she's fantastic and so nice, and I want to try to support her. So we got a couple of like little scones and things like that, and their juices and the scones, and went to the state park, which is Cape Henlopen, and they have an area where it's an overlook over the beach, and it was a really beautiful morning, and there were surfers out, so you could see the surfers and this and that, and just kind of chill out, and it was fun. And we brought the dog. She couldn't go into the farmer's market. Dogs are not allowed in there, but she hung out with Mo, and then I could buy whatever I wanted. And then she did we were able to take her up obviously to the park part, and there was no other dogs around, so she could just kind of chill and enjoy herself and hang out. So that was a lot of fun. And I think there was pickleball in there because the weather again was nice. So I think Mo pickleballed on Sunday, and yeah, it was just kind of a chill but kind of fun time. Then this week, you know, I don't know where the week's gone. There's been, like I said, there's been several appointments this week, next week, just different stuff. Not even like anything major, but just enough things to kind of keep you busy. And then a couple Zooms and things like that. So here it is, Friday again. I said to Mo this morning, it is Friday again. How in the world did that happen? It's gotten much colder here since last weekend. We did have frost on the ground at least one morning, if not two. During the day, though, it has gotten better. Some of the days it's very, very windy. We're down here, we're windy pretty much. There's at least a couple days a week that we get the wind warnings, it feels like. We did have one bad storm. It was over the weekend because, yeah, it was over the weekend because we had a car in the driveway and we're worried about, because we ended up with hail and everything. Like it was weird, you know, thunder, hail, in the neighborhood group, people who, they were concerned because there was, I don't know, some sort of noise that reminds them of when tornadoes are coming, but we didn't get any warnings. So it was crazy storm. I've had like little hail storms, you know, before but not much, you know, and this was, you could hear the thudding and against the windows, against the roof, and you're like, whoa. So, but now it's colder. I am hoping there'll be a little bit of a warm up. I'd really like it to be nice for when my in-laws are here. It would be nice if maybe we can sit out on our screen porch and all of that, or 3-season-ish porch. But we'll see. We'll take it's going to happen, whatever's going to happen, right? We did not get some of the snow that I saw earlier in the week. Several people had posted pictures of their first snow. It did not come as far as Delaware, thankfully. I'm fine if I don't see any snow ever. I lived through enough snow in Connecticut. I don't need any more, but I'm sure there's some coming. So yeah, that's about it. What was going on there? Mo and I did watch. We waited till the entire season was done because this way we could kind of binge it. We watched Slow Horses. This is season 5. I believe it's on Apple. It was good. Overall, it was good. The first episode, I think it's 6 episodes a season. The first episode was slow. And, you know, they were really slow going with the whole, where this season was going. And, you know, Mo and I were like, okay, we'll keep going for a bit, but we'll see, you know. And then it picked up and it did get better. And we've watched every season. We've really enjoyed the show. I've not read the books. I'd be interested to read the books. Has anybody read them? If I've seen the show, will it have ruined the books? I don't know. We have a lot of readers, so somebody let me know if you've read it and what you think. And if I've already seen all of the seasons, would that be an issue? Slow Horses is coming back for another season, because at the end of this one, they showed you scenes from next season. It feels like they've already got it filmed. They give the amount of previews they showed. So so it's still here. It's still that'll be fun to see the next one whenever it comes out. But I would recommend it. Don't start with the season. Definitely, you know, I mean, things build on, and characters kind of, you learn things and then you just keep moving from there. So watch from the beginning if you've not seen it before. Languages, right? There's definitely violence in these. And I would say that would be the main deterrent. The languages is not as bad as in some shows, but there is violence in it. So I do want to caution you there if that's something that you don't care for. Not that we care for it, but you know, like there's certain levels of shows I won't watch but there's just times that I just close my eyes on this one. But overall, the characters are, you know, they're a bunch of misfits. They're great. And you just keep learning things each season. It kind of just builds on. So I enjoyed it. Mo enjoyed it. And we would certainly watch next season. All right. That's about it. So my friends, I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. Please always remember to take care of yourself. You are important. You are so, so important. You matter, um, just as you are. Just as you are. You're special and wonderful, and just please don't lose sight of that. And until next time, happy stitching.